Hey scientists, today we're going to look at sedimentary and metamorphic rocks and see how they form. Alright, so first up we're going to talk about sedimentary rocks. Now first of all, sediment is basically broken down rock. Now you can imagine like a big rock on the edge of a beach, and the waves are just constantly hitting that rock over and over again. And little pieces of the rock over a long period of time get broken off and they settle at the bottom of that body of water. It can be like an ocean, a lake, or a river, something like that. And so these layers of sediment over long periods of time start to build up. And along with the sediment comes organic material, because a lot of the creatures in the ocean, when they pass away, they will sink to the bottom and their bones will kind of become part of those layers. And so over time, these layers build up over and over, and the top layers start to get so heavy that they start pressing down on the bottom layers. And that pressure will actually form new rocks below. And those rocks we call sedimentary rocks. Now the cool things about sedimentary rocks is, one, if you look at them, a lot of times you'll actually be able to see the layers inside of the rocks. And the other thing that's cool about them is that a lot of times you'll find actual fossils amongst those layers, because that organic material becomes part of the rocks. And so another feature of sedimentary rocks is that they're pretty soft and crumbly. So a couple examples would be sandstone or travertine. And when you hold these stones in your hand and you kind of move them around, you'll notice that there's like a residue that's left on your fingers because they're just kind of loosely packed together. So that sediment starts to kind of break off just by you moving it around. Okay, next up we're going to take a look at metamorphic rocks. Now, like the name suggests, metamorphic rocks are created when one type of rock actually transforms or morphs into a new type of rock. Now, in order for this process to happen, it requires a lot of pressure, heat, or both, which can usually be found deep within the earth. Now, a couple examples of how this works. So if you take a sedimentary rock, like shale, for example, and you apply enough of those forces to it, it will transform into a rock called slate, which is a metamorphic rock. Another example is if you take limestone, another sedimentary rock, and you apply pressure and heat to it, it will transform into marble. Now marble, a lot of times you will see used for like really nice countertops or in buildings, and it looks super cool. A lot of metamorphic rocks have really interesting looks to them. And some other characteristics of metamorphic rocks is, for one, they kind of have like flaking layers. A lot of times they're very hard and brittle. And if you take a metamorphic rock, typically if you tap it on a surface, you'll hear this kind of high clink sound. Okay, so if you haven't started one yet, it's time to start up a rock collection. Now, rock collecting is a really fun thing to do because, as we've talked about, rocks are so fascinating. They go through all these processes to become what they are. And so a great place to keep your rocks that you find is an old egg carton like this. So you can keep them in the slots. Up here you can maybe like tape a piece of paper and write where you found them and maybe what you think they are. And so it's a great way to kind of track and hold on to your rocks that you do find. They don't have to be sedimentary or metamorphic rocks, just any rocks that you find interesting. Just keep your eye out, and I hope you have fun with it. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Okay, scientists, thanks for watching. Did you enjoy that lesson? Subscribe below to see more fun science videos. You can also become a member of PS Science on Patreon to support what we're doing. See you next time.